Good evening, good evening, good evening. This is Coach Paula, your life transitions coach. Welcome to the Rhythm Room. Yes, this is the place where every 16th of the month we gather at 8:09 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to just talk about rhythm. It's an open conversation. Hopefully, you will join in and chat. I'll see your messages. But I really want to come on here each month as part of the blog that I do. It's called pH Balance. I think most of you may have seen it on my website, www.paulahollis.com. And I post monthly some type of entry as it relates to the fruit of the Spirit. And so I come on the 16th of the month and share. And so, why do I do this on the 16th of the month at 8:09 p.m.? It all seems like rather odd. Well, I'm so glad you asked because the whole blog is rooted in the fruit of the Spirit, which is something my mother loved. And my mother passed away on my birthday, January 16th of 2009. And she was the one that always encouraged me to write, even though I never wanted to do it. And so on my 50th birthday, I decided to start this blog in honor and memory of her. And so I also decided to go live the 16th of every month at 8:09 p.m. military time, which is 20:09. And so that's why we're here. We won't be here very long, but we're gathering. We'll be here every month in what's called the Rhythm Room. And so this month's focus in the Rhythm Room is all about building a sustainable momentum. PH Academy is rooted in the AIM methodology, which is awareness, intention, and momentum. And so each quarter, we cycle through that framework within our curriculum. And so for the month of June, our focus is igniting our momentum. And so tonight's vlog is talking about that. How do we build a sustainable momentum? So I'm so glad to welcome you into this edition of the Rhythm Room, where we are going to explore how sustainable growth is not powered by hype. Hype is not going to do it, but it is powered by rhythm. So let's set the tone with our opening discussion. Now, momentum is not just movement. Let's not confuse it. It's not just simply movement. It's the movement that matters. You could be moving and doing a whole lot of things, but if it's not things that matters, then you're really not getting anything done. And so what matters really can't be rushed. You got to take your time and do it right and not rush through it, okay? And so this month in the academy, that's what we've been talking about all month. The students have been digging into their lessons and focus on this, right? It's not about fast starts. It's not about emotional highs because emotional highs will fizzle out. It's about a faithful rhythm that is built in consistency. And what fuels it? That fire. Somewhere having a conversation with you, have a conversation back, whether it's in a replay and you leave a comment, whether you reach out to me and send a message. But I would love to hear your thoughts. So I'm going to do some micro teaching, okay, and hit some points. My first point is that hype, the hype man. Your hype can start a fire. It can, but it's only rhythm that's going to keep the fire burning. Hype can start it, and there's nothing wrong with having some hype. But to keep it and sustain it, you're going to need a rhythm. And so we talked about that in week one in the academy, and how, in order to do that, you have to have a strategy and you have to have small systems, right? You can be sparked and you can get moving on, but there's a difference between spark. A spark just does that, it just gets it initialized, but it doesn't sustain. What sustains is having a strategy and a small system, some type of system that's repeatable. I love systems because they're predictable, they're repeatable, they're sustainable. If they need to be tweaked, you tweak it, and that thing's still going to just keep churning. So you need some type of system. So let's talk about that. That consistency is very important. And if you know anything about Coach Paula, I love the book Atomic Habits. And there's a quote that James Clear, the author of that book, says. He says that you do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. So it's very important that we establish systems, those repeatable processes, to allow us to not only just spark, but to sustain. So that's very important. The second point I want to make is that the fuel that you're using is more effective when you understand the engine. I'm going to repeat that. The fuel that you're using to keep you motivated, to keep you going, is far more important when you understand the engine. Let's pause there. Let's think about that. Let that sit in for a moment. And so let's just take a minute. The fuel. What is fuel? Think about our cars, right? Whether you're high octane, whether you're regular, whatever, you got to understand how that engine works and make sure you're putting the right fuel to the right engine. But if you know Coach Paula, fuel has an acronym for me. It's not just 87 and 90 and 90, 93. No, fuel has an acronym for me. So here we go. Fuel, F, faith. U, understanding. E, expectation. And L is love. Faith works by love. So the outer points are faith and love, but those inner points, understanding and expectation. What are you understanding? Right? You got to have an understanding of something, right? And then what are you expecting? Expectation sets the goal. It puts things in motion for you. And what you're understanding, then you can help to materialize in your life. Because in all you're getting, what do you need to get? You need to get understanding. So the fuel that you need is faith. Faith works by love. That's the L. And then all you're getting, get an understanding. And then set an expectation, what it is you're looking forward to. That becomes the motivation. You know, one of my favorite scriptures is when Jesus was on the cross, and it talks of how he was able to endure the cross because of the joy that was set before him, right? And that's a fuel of sense. He was able to sustain and endure something that is just unimaginable. But he was able to endure that because there was something that was set before him. There was a joy that he was excited about and that was set before him. And what was that joy? It was us. It was you. It was me. Us walking out, living the fullness of what he died for. He was able to endure and suffer long and suffer hard because something was sustaining him. He wasn't just sparked, but he was sustained. Faith with works by love, with both understanding and expectation. So my quote here is, don't just throw energy at the fire. That's a waste. You need to understand what you're fueling and why. So take inventory of your life. What are you fueling and why are you fueling it? Faith, understanding, expectation, and love. Point number 3, and then we're getting out of your way. Point number 3 says, rhythm is how you protect the fire from resistance. Rhythm. Having a solid rhythm is how you protect the fire from resistance. Now, resistance is necessary. Don't fool yourself. And resistance is going to come. Now, I'm not a bodybuilder or I don't do anything of that nature. I'll say yet. How about that? But resistance, that's helpful to building your muscle and helpful to achieving the results that you want. So a lot of times when resistance comes our way, we get frustrated. But guess what? Resistance is building muscle, right? We talked about that in week 4 and week 5 of pH balance this month. And so this isn't about doing more. This is all about being more aware of how you move. Awareness is key. Remember, I mentioned that 3-part aspect of the methodology that we use within the Academy of AIM: awareness, intention, and momentum. We can't negate any of them, they're all significant and important. And so you've got to be aware. Once you become aware, you set your intention. And then once your intention is set, then you can gain momentum and start doing something. And that's what we were talking about in this month's blog: keeping the fire, what it really takes to sustain momentum. So I really hope that you will take advantage, read the blog. I hope that you will share your thoughts, share the blog with someone else, and stay in touch. Follow me on my website, paulahollis.com. Consider enrolling as a student in the PH Academy. I put out information on a regular basis, but I think that you really can't get a full understanding without membership. So let me just leave you with this, because I've been on here for a good amount of time now. So I need you to think about this. Where in your life, what rhythm is currently active in your life that's already working? Because if it's already working, that's good. We want to just keep it moving and refine. But look at your life and see, are there areas where you're forcing something that maybe needs to be realigned? Maybe it's not the right fit for this season. And so if something's working, it's a good fit and it's working well, great, maintain that. But if there are areas that need to be realigned, then this is the time. This is great mid-year reflection to take advantage of realigning those things and to shift and do what's necessary to walk out this momentum and achieve ultimately the goals that you need to achieve in your life. So hopefully something I've said has shifted your energy, has awakened your potential, and hopefully it's resonating with you. This is just a small drip of what we do, what we explore, and what we look at within the Academy. And so, like I said, feel free to check out my website, paulahollis.com. Feel free to follow along on my socials at I am Paula Hollis, and join the discussion, follow the blog, and join for the live interaction. Like I said, the 16th of every month at 8:09 p.m. So until the next time, keep your rhythm honest. Stay honest. Keep your fire faithful. Stay faithful. And always, always move with meaning, right? Let's not just make senseless moves, but let's make sure that every movement we make has movement. Take care, and I'll see you next month in the Rhythm Room. Have a great evening.